ultra-processed food. You think it's your junk food, it's your takeaways, it's your fast food. And everyone knows if you're trying to lose weight, you need to eat less of that. But actually, there is a hidden truth about ultra-processed food that could be preventing you from losing the weight you want to lose. And I'm going to share that with you in this video. Because actually, ultra-processed food is found in so many of our everyday items. Your muesli bar, your cereal, your flavoured yogurt, your fruit drink are all ultra-processed foods. In fact, in the UK, more than half of all the calories we consume come from ultra-processed foods. And in the USA, it's even more, it's about 75%, so it's about 3/4. So it's really difficult to even avoid it. And actually, eating this ultra-processed food can impair your ability to lose the weight you want to lose. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you what is ultra-processed food, why does it impair your ability to lose weight, and how you can reduce it to make sure that you lose weight for life. So why is it that if you eat more ultra-processed food, you might struggle to lose weight? Well, there's lots of reasons. And firstly, ultra-processed food tends to be lower in protein and fibre. And if you're not sure why that's important, then you should watch the first video out of my 10-part series. Also, it has a low thermic effect of food. And essentially what that means is you lose less calories when you're eating it compared to unprocessed food. Also, it tends to be high in fat and salt and sugar, which of course is going to make you put on weight. In fact, if you think about in nature, there's very rare amounts of food that could be found that are both high in carbohydrate and fat, but we do find that in ultra-processed food. Also has something called a low satiety score very often, which means it doesn't fill you. So you end up being hungry, and of course then you're going to eat more. And it is easier to eat more of it. So it has something called high palatability. Interesting, there was a study done where people ate either unprocessed food or processed food, and they were kept on a ward, so all their food was completely controlled, and they were allowed to eat as much or as little as they wanted, and the food was matched for fibre content, macronutrient content. But in the end, the people eating the ultra-processed food had on average 500 more calories a day, they ate about 50% faster, and they put on more weight than the people who had an unprocessed diet, even though overall they said they didn't enjoy that food anymore and they weren't any happier about it. And it's also interesting to think about even a McDonald's Big Mac. When that first came out, it was considered a big burger. Now it's puny compared to the mega burgers we have. So the portion controls that we have also just changed, because it's so much easier to eat more of the ultra-processed food. And of course, if you're eating more of it, overall, you're having much more calories. So how do you know if a food is ultra-processed? Well, the definition's a bit woolly and people disagree about it, but essentially it tends to have more than 5 ingredients and include things that you wouldn't find in your kitchen at home. That's often things like preservatives, flavours, colours, emulsifiers. We're not quite sure what it is about ultra-processed food, whether it's the processing itself or the ingredients, that means that we kind of deal with it differently. But as we've discussed, there are reasons why it could stop you from losing weight you want to lose. So what can you do about ultra-processed food? How can you reduce it in your diet? Well, firstly, I just want to say no food should be demonised. And I'm not saying you should never eat ultra-processed food. I definitely eat ultra-processed food. My kids eat ultra-processed food. It's very difficult to avoid. But I do think it's good to try and reduce the amount we eat in our diet. And that starts by being aware of what everyday food, what we're eating already that is ultra-processed, and trying to see if we can make simple swaps. Or at least when you're having ultra-processed food, like the bread you buy or the cereal you get, make sure you're having some that has got more nutritional benefits. So get the whole grain options, things like that. Instead of having your flavoured yogurt, get plain yogurt and add some fruit on top to add a sweetness. That can be kind of canned fruit, fresh fruit, frozen fruit. Instead of having kind of, chips and crisps, think about having nuts instead. So there are ways and means. I know we all want like that quick fix, don't we? I've got 3 kids, we're rushing around, life is busy, and often ultra-processed food gives us that convenience. It's the ready meals, isn't it? If you can and you've got the ability, then try and perhaps batch cook instead. So do double the amount you're going to cook of something and freeze it. So the next time you're in a rush, you've got some already made, you can just heat up. So it is a bit about planning, and I know it's not quite as simple, but it's worth it, because what we do know about ultra-processed food is that it's most likely is going to be stopping you from losing the weight you want to lose. So I hope you found that really helpful. And remember, this is part 3 of my 10-part series about weight loss. So ultra-processed food is just a little jigsaw piece that comes together to help you lose weight overall. And if you watch all 10 videos, then I'm sure that this will help you on your way to lose weight for life. Thanks for watching.